We've been reflecting about what does it mean to live on the margins. And over the last month, we have been considering a particular aspect of that, which is what does it look like to speak hope from the peripheries of culture, the peripheries of society. And ultimately, to speak hope is rooted in the gospel. The gospel is the announcement of victory. The Apostle Paul, who was one of the early leaders of the Christian church, he summarized the gospel as the news that Jesus died for our sins and on the third day rose from the dead, all in accordance with the scriptures. Now, if you're someone who is a Christian hearing this, immediately you can understand why that's good news. But let me just say for you this day, I want you to think about how other people are hearing this. There has been this enormous societal shift over the last 50 to 60 years, where once we could assume at least a basic knowledge of the story of the Bible, where people's values and morals and concerns were shaped by a broadly Judeo-Christian view of the world. Now people have adopted different stories that help them to interpret reality. Let me explain it to you like this. Imagine you're reading Lord of the Rings and you have come to the final book, The Return of the King. And you come to the momentous moment where Sam and Frodo, the hobbits, are on Mount Doom and they have the ring which they can cast into the lava to defeat the enemy. And then imagine the very next line is, and Scotland score the winning goal. Now at that moment, wouldn't you be confused? For you see, a whole story, a whole plot has been established. And then out of nowhere, this sentence, which makes no sense, arrives at the very end. And that is a way of explaining how, for many people, when they hear that short sentence about the gospel, it feels like a sentence that's intruded itself in a story that they don't know. And so for us, it's helpful as the church to understand that people have adopted different stories. And what we want to do is to be able to speak hope into those stories, show how Jesus is a better answer to anything than those stories can offer, but also how the gospel upends those stories and invites us into a better one. If you see someone who might have adopted the naturalist, materialist view of the world, that only what we can observe by our five senses is that which is true. Nothing exists outside of those parameters. Then for them, the news that there is something supernatural, they cannot countenance it. But what we might say then is that which is outside of creation has come in the person of Jesus. Jesus was seen, Jesus was heard, Jesus was touched, he was smelt. He ate food before his disciples. And so the good news is that hope has come in from outside and is secured through the death and resurrection of Jesus. And so what that does is it shows that their meaning can be found in this world, and it's found from something that has come from without into our history. And actually that shows that the story of Christianity is that which is true. And so what we're wanting to do is show that the story of Christianity is actually the true reality and is truly where hope is found.